All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to call the regular meeting of the Brandywine School District Board of Education to order. It's 7:03. We are in the Carcroft Elementary School cafeteria. Can I ask Mr. Scrobot to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll preface the meeting that this is our first meeting using a new meeting management system, so hopefully it goes smooth, but if not, it's the first time we're all learning this together. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. I'd like to ask the principal of Carcroft, Mr. Overly, to come up and welcome us to his great cafeteria.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Mark Overland, the principal here at Carcroft. This is my 12th year as principal, 24th in the Brandywine School District. So super proud for you guys to be here this evening. So I always say, like when I give tours to new prospective parents, I always say how wonderful Carcroft is. And I always say I'm pretty biased, obviously, because I'm the principal here, but I've had all three of my kids go here. I have one that's still in fourth grade, one at Tally, and then one at Concord. And I also wanted to say that he does play baseball, and we're super excited that Coach Hamburger's here being recognized this evening. So again, he has such a wonderful experience. All three of my kids have gone through here, and like I said, I'm always so proud of the academics, but what I'm most proud of is the positive climate and culture that our teachers and our staff work at every single day here. And I know that I see one of our former Carcroft kids here, Molly Andrews, so welcome back. And welcome to Carcroft, and welcome and have a great board meeting. Thank you.
That brings us to our high school reporters. We're going to start with Mount Pleasant High School. Kamani and Stephen. Or just Stephen.
Hi, it's just me tonight. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Rice. I'm the Vice President of the Student Council at Mount Pleasant. I'm so excited to be with you here today. I know it has been a while since our last meeting, so I'm so glad we can all be back together to show the amazing things going on in the Brandywine School District. The first thing I would like to mention is our 6th annual Greek Night Step Showcase. That was run by our BSU to help create a fun night of culture and representation. The festival had upwards of 700 people in attendance, and let's just say I think all of them thought it was a blast. Next thing I would like to mention is our Delaware's Educators Rising State Conference, where they had 2 gold medal placements. Along with this, I would love to shout out our DECA program and their gold medalist winners. Do you feel the warmer weather starting to show? So that means our spring sports are back in session, and I would love to congratulate our spring sports on a wonderful start to the season. I wish the best of luck to them, so go Green Knights, and I actually just witnessed a girls lacrosse win, like not even an hour ago, so congratulations to them. Next up, I would like to talk about Inclusion Day. And I think I speak for the entire Mount Pleasant community when I say inclusion is not just something we take lightly. We as a student body know that we are stronger together than we are divided. So showing our understanding of others, no matter what disabilities or one might have, because at the end of the day, we are all humans, and together is where communities and families like the one we have at Mount are made. And as always, our music department has been in full swing. As we come closer and closer to the end of the year, I would love to congratulate the members of the Mount Pleasant Choir that made it into All-State Choir and the members that made it into All-Eastern Choir. And I hope all the concerts went well and amazing, and a shout out to the members of All-State Band and All-State Orchestra on their performances. Along with our music and our music department, our drama department has been hard at work. We just finished our production of Mamma Mia, where we were glad to welcome students from Tally Middle School. They all put in hard work together along with us to create an amazing show. And I think it paid off, as we sold over 1,000 tickets. But that may have been helped by our news appearance on Channel 6 News. So big thank you to them for the opportunity. Next thing up is our EntreX entrepreneurship program. Went to the University of Delaware to present, and what an amazing job they did, showing Mount Spirit outside the walls of Mount Pleasant. So a big shout out to them. And finally, I would like to send out a massive shout out to Mr. Sean Aquino for being named Teacher of the Year. We truly appreciate all that you do for our schools and our community. So that concludes our session, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. And as always, we are Mount. Any questions from the board?
Were you in Mamma Mia? Did I remember
I was in
saying?
Mamma Mia.
I didn't get to go, but I heard from so many people over the weekend about how amazing it was. So congratulations.
Thank you. I
on
really
that.
appreciate that.
Anyone else? Comments? Questions?
Did you also have, between this
Your
board
mic
meeting
out.
and the last board meeting, there was like another, performances, one act, I don't know if it was one act.
1X, we talked about, they ended right before the last meeting.
Okay, that must have been what it was.
But those also went amazing as well, so I really appreciate that.
I had some questions for you, Stephen. A few months ago, we asked what you were going to do after high school, and it was kind of to be determined. I didn't know if you had an update for the board.
It
on that
is
yet.
still to be determined. I
right.
am waiting to hear back from University of Maryland, and I have an audition at Towson literally this weekend. So
Well, good luck for that. With
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That brings us to Brandywine High School. I think I only see Logan.
Yes, hello. Sadly, Julian couldn't make it today, but I'm Logan Scott, and I'm Brandywine High School Student Council President, and I'm super excited to share some amazing things that have been happening at Brandywine recently. For clarification's sake, some events that have happened more recently in March will not be addressed in this meeting. They will be addressed in the next meeting. At the end of February, our amazing drama department put on their performance of Matilda. Coming up soon for our drama department is their one-act sketch comedy show. Be on the lookout for more information regarding that soon. Additionally, our music department has sent several of our choir students to All-State, and I would like to congratulate those students. While it is still very early in the spring sports season, I am excited to share that several of our teams, including boys lacrosse, girls soccer, baseball, boys tennis, and boys volleyball, have started off their seasons with winning records. Our winter sports teams finished the year with some amazing accomplishments of their own. Four of our swimmers managed to break 2 school relay records. Congratulations to Jackson, Colin, Henry, and Will. Additionally, our competition cheer team took home first place in their category. Recently, our school came together to celebrate Spread the Word Day, celebrating inclusion and kindness. In addition, we celebrated our BSU Spirit Week and National School Breakfast Week. Our College and Career Center has hosted many incredible op talks, giving students an opportunity to interact with those across many careers. Also, we would like to congratulate Cole Barniak for becoming a National Merit Scholarship Award recipient. That is all that I have. Go Dogs! Any questions from the board?
Now, I know you were in Matilda because I was there, so I
Yes.
just also want to say what a great show that
Thank
was. I
you.
really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
There were some very funny parts. I really enjoyed the show. Any questions or comments from anybody?
I had a question, Logan. And I meant to ask Stephen this as well. Do you guys have any activities planned for Earth Day?
For Earth Day?
Yeah. This
I
month?
believe that one of our chemistry teachers tends to celebrate Earth Day. We usually do a competition. Students will make teachers like shirts that have Earth Day messages on them, and I believe that they have some form of voting for that. But otherwise, there isn't that many that I've heard of, although we recently have, I believe this is the first year where Brandywine has had AP Environmental Science as a class, so I will have to ask our teachers for that if they have anything planned for Earth Day, because that would be really cool if they did.
Yeah, I had gotten a question from a community member about, I think it's April 22nd is Plastic-Free Lunch Day. And then there is a really, really free market at Bellevue Community Center April 11th. It's kind of like a pass-along, old items for new items, that sort of thing. And they wanted to make sure that the high school kids knew about that too. So that's all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Logan. And that brings us to Concord, Michaela and Molly.
Good evening, everyone. I am President Michaela Michelson
And I'm Vice President Molly Andrews.
of the Concord High School Student Council, and we're excited to bring you up to speed on the amazing things that happened at Concord over the past month. So to begin this month, we'd like to first give a special shout out to Joseph Zahib, a junior at Concord High School who has been honored with the 2026 Congressional Gold Medal Award. This is the U.S. Congress's highest honor for youth, so an outstanding job, Joseph. Additionally, Concord continues to prepare upperclassmen for independence through education and important life skills. School nurse Mrs. Weaver recently held a health literacy seminar, helping our students gain a clear, accurate health information while learning how to advocate for themselves and navigate their healthcare needs independently. Thank you, Nurse Weaver. In the arts world, Concord students studying French, Italian, and Spanish recently visited the Metropolitan Museum,
where they studied jokes in a lot of different languages, right? That's why it's so funny.
in New York City, enjoying a cultural experience as they explored art and history from around the world. Concord art students Kayla St. John, Sadie Hall, and Rachel Q were recognized with honorable mention awards in the Delaware Regional Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, the nation's longest-running and most prestigious recognition program for creative teens. The music department also had 8 choir students participate in the Delaware All-State Chorus Festival alongside the state's top chorale musicians. Congratulations to them on an excellent concert. Additionally, the music department recently presented a wonderful performance of the spring musical Be More Chill. It was a huge hit.
We've been making a lot of oh, I'm sorry, could you switch to the next slide? I'm sorry, thank you. We've been making a lot of history at Concord over the last month. The Delaware Law-Related Education Center named Concord the most improved team. Just 3 years after finishing in last place, Concord High School's mock trial team placed 6th in the state and was also named the #1 public school in the competition. Along the way, the team secured impressive victories over last year's runner-up Wilmington Friends School and this year's runner-up Padua Academy. Continuing with the theme of law and engagement, at Concord, Ms. McKelvey took our students to the Wilmington University School of Law, where they watched oral arguments in the criminal appeal before the Delaware Supreme Court. It was a wonderful experience for the Concord students. The historical moments didn't stop there. Our girls basketball team advanced to the Elite 8 in the DIAA state tournament, which highlighted a major victory upset over number 5 St. George's, which placed them in the quarterfinals. An accomplishment like this has not been done in over the last 15 years at Concord. Continuing with the basketball excitement, our boys team also made history with their first state tournament appearance in 10 years. Our students showed up and showed out for the game. The gym was completely sold out days before tip-off. We are incredibly proud of all of our student and student athletes, and we look forward to continuing to share even more exciting updates as our spring sports get underway. Before we end, we'd like to shout out our Raiders who are continuing their academics at a university level. Congrats to our very own Michaela Michelson on her commitment to the University of Virginia, along with Lily Belair in her commitment on the University of South Florida, Paige Bennett and Kira Pyle on their way to Coastal Carolina University, Tori Romeo to Florida Atlantic University, Maeve Teeney on the University of Utah, Sean Doherty, Jason Schiff, Evan Jones, and Steph Coster, and many other students on their commitment to the University of Delaware. We cannot wait to see what our students do and continue to show the Raider way at a collegiate level. Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoyed following the basketball drama and success over the past couple weeks. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
I had some. Okay, so we have one update to University of Virginia. Any other updates?
I'm going to the University of Delaware for nursing.
All right, fantastic. All right, that's all I had. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, we gotta get down here.
We're going to invite Dr. O'Hanlon to discuss the Delaware Baseball Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everybody. Members of the board and members of the community. Tonight, we are going to honor and recognize Concord High School teacher and basketball coach Tim Hamburger for an extraordinary career in Delaware baseball and for his recent selection into the Delaware Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Tim has distinguished himself as an elite baseball player long before he became one of the most respected coaches in our state. As a student athlete at St. Mark's, he was a standout infielder and earned first-team All-State honors as a shortstop. And he also played a key role in the 1994 St. Mark's State Championship team win. He continued his career at Wilmington University during that program's NAIA era, where he became a 4-year starter under Coach Matt Brainerd. During his collegiate career, Tim served as team captain, all-region honors, and was recognized nationally as an honorable mention All-American outfielder, an honor that reflects his exceptional consistency and performance at the highest level. Those experiences as an all-state player and all-American caliber athlete helped shape the foundation for his future success as a coach, as a teacher, and as a mentor. Tim began his coaching career as an assistant coach at Pennsville High School in New Jersey before returning to Delaware to serve as an assistant coach at the University of Delaware and later at Brandywine High School. In these roles, he quickly developed a reputation as a thoughtful teacher of the game and a strong communicator. And he later served as head coach at Sanford School before taking over the Concord High School baseball program in 2007. Over the past 19 years, Coach Hamburger has built one of the most consistent and competitive high school baseball programs in Delaware. He has also been recognized as State of Delaware Coach of the Year twice in 2012 and 2019, and is currently the only active head coach to have received that honor multiple times. He is also believed to be one of the only individuals in Delaware baseball history to earn first-team All-State honors as a player and later receive state-level Coach of the Year recognition as both an assistant coach and as a head coach. But beyond wins and championships, Coach Hamburger's programs are defined by how the game is played. Under his leadership, Concord Baseball has received the Rocky Salvatore Sportsmanship Award 5 different times, 2009, 2012, 13, 17, and 19. And during that span, no other program in the state has won that award more than twice. That level of recognition speaks to the caliber of Coach Hamburger has built, one grounded in sportsmanship, accountability, and character. Many former Concord players have returned after completing their college careers to serve as assistant coaches in the program, which is a powerful testament to the lasting impact that Coach Hamburger has had on the young men he has coached. Coach Hamburger's influence extends well beyond Concord High School. He is a longtime member of the Delaware Baseball Coaches Association and Executive Board, a strong advocate for improving high school baseball across the state, and a trusted mentor to many younger coaches who seek his guidance on leadership, program development, and player growth. For nearly 2 decades, Tim Hamburger has represented Concord High School and the Brandywine School District with integrity, dedication, and excellence. So please join me in inviting Tim up here, and please join me in congratulating him and head baseball coach Tim Hamburger on his induction to the Delaware Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Thank you. Absolutely.
June 17th, it's a Wednesday night. The Blue Rocks, I think their game's at 6:30. The induction is June 17th at 6 before that game. And then the hope is to hang out afterwards and have some lemonade and pizza. So.
One more.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations. And we're staying with Dr. O'Hanlon
I'm back again.
to congratulate our Delaware Teachers Institute fellows.
I'll be here all evening. All right. I'd like to welcome Dr. Barbara Prillman, the director of the Delaware Teachers Institute. She is here this evening to recognize Brandywine School District teachers who successfully completed the 2025 cycle of the Delaware Teachers Institute. The DTI program engages educators in intensive professional learning seminars and requires participants to complete extensive research and writing focused on strengthening classroom instruction. Upon completion of the program, each fellow receives a certificate of completion from the Delaware Teachers Institute. So if you could welcome Dr. Barbara Prillman.
Couple things. Thank you so much to everyone here. I'm here this evening to thank the school district, Brandywine School District, the administration, as well as the board and the teachers in your district. I am a resident in your district, but I do teach at Red Clay. Right, so I know, I'm like, but I see a lot of friendly faces that I've known over the years, right? It's one small state. That is what I always remember. So I'm here to also just let you know a little bit about DTI, which it is an educational participation, a partnership between the University of Delaware, 5 Newcastle County school districts, and Yale University, which that's where the model began and was refined. So we are still affiliated with them. And the mission is, like Dr. O'Hanlon said, to provide current content-based knowledge for public school teachers, kindergarten through 12th grade. And that's really important because a lot of our professional development is geared towards pedagogy and learning new types of strategies. So this also lets us keep up with things that have changed over time. It happens through seminars that are led by University of Delaware faculty in which there's a collegial relationship. No grades are exchanged, but there's a relationship that is built as teachers, which are known as fellows, end up getting them to research and to write curriculum, which from my point of view is extremely important. This organization allows for teachers to become leaders but remain in the classroom. We do know from research that teachers are, there's a higher retention level for teachers that have participated in this program to remain in the classroom. They are able to be curriculum leaders. They are able to mentor their colleagues as they come into the program, and they're also able to serve in leadership positions. 3 of your teachers are doing that now. Stacey Ann, Josepha, and Alyssa have all come into the program and serve as part of the leadership committee, which makes all the decisions for the Institute. The teachers determine with professors what seminars are offered, and it's all geared towards the unique needs of their specific students, which that's the bottom line. This program offers teachers the opportunity to remain in the classroom and do good by the people that they serve each day, which are their students. So tonight we'd like to recognize we've had a little bit of a transition at the university level, so you'll probably see us in late spring again, but we are here to recognize those teachers that have finished the program at the beginning or the end of last year at this point in time. So we have Tara Brady. We have Michelle Brynmer. Michelle, we'll get that to her, don't worry. It also allows for teachers to collect certification hours as well, since they're putting in so much time. Josepha Castelli. Alyssa Lupadamo. Rashida Washington. Oh, thank you. Great. I think they're going to take your photo as well. And I want to once again thank everyone here for the participation in the Institute and also the support that you've shown. We really appreciate it. Oh, sorry.
Congratulations, everyone, and thank you for putting in the time to do this. All right, and that brings us to Dr. Lawson with the superintendent's report.
Good evening, Board President Heller, Vice President Scrobot, members of the board, and members of our audience and community. Digging deeper this month into our student outcomes data, tonight we draw strong correlations between regular school attendance and proficiency rates when we examine a cohort of Brandywine students. Last year's third grade students who took Smarter Balance in spring of 2025 were the first cohort of students to return to school full-time in person after schools closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As you can see on the screen, their kindergarten attendance rates were disproportionately low compared to years prior. This is school year 21 and looking at the 78% for kindergarten attendance. In fact, they were the lowest we've ever experienced. They missed more days in kindergarten than they did in third grade just this past year. As a result, that cohort of students accumulated a significant number of missed instructional hours. To better understand how a student's cumulative absences between kindergarten and grade 3 correlate with student proficiency on the Smarter Balance assessment, we started with the data set of students who tested last year. 789 grade 3 Brandywine students took both the math and ELA Smarter Balanced assessment last year in school year 25. Some additional students received exemptions from the test. They took the alternate assessment or they had parents opt them out. If you go to the next slide, you'll see that 445 of these students attended the same Brandywine Elementary School for the 4 years between kindergarten and grade 3. So already, this reduction in the data set from 789 to 445 students shows that our overall Smarter Balance score reports do not capture the impact of other factors that affect performance and outcomes, such as student mobility between schools and districts. So we analyzed these 445 students across all 4 years of enrollment and connected it with their grade 3 achievement levels. Our next 2 slides will show how achievement levels on Smarter Balance have a strong correlation with absence levels. So as you can see on this chart, only 17% of the 445 students who missed up to a week of each school year do not meet ELA standards, but 52% of the students who missed 16 or more school days each year do not meet the standards. And similarly in math, which has more interdependence among the standards, which means that the concepts are weaved over the course of time and you need one for the other, shows an even steeper increase in the percentage of students not meeting standards as absences from school rise. At the lower end of absenteeism, students are better off in math than in reading. Only 12% of these students who missed up to a week of each school year do not meet math standards, but 52% of students missing 16 or more days each year do not meet, and only 21% of that group are proficient. Data continues to show, without a doubt, how much school attendance matters in meeting proficiency and state standards. As recently as last week, I had coffee with the superintendent and a grandfather came in. He had been through BSD schools, his children went through BSD schools, and was asking about the number of instructional days that we have in Brandywine School District, and was concerned that the state reduced the number of days to a number of hours, an equivalent of hours. And he was encouraging us to look at finding more instructional days for students across the school year. This data set also shows that a commitment to send your child to the same Brandywine School District elementary school for all 4 consecutive years between kindergarten and third grade, despite a global pandemic and historic low rates of attendance in kindergarten in 2022, provided the structure and support needed to achieve proficiency of rigorous grade level standards if they came to school. March is recognized nationwide as Music in Our Schools Month, a time to celebrate the important role that music education plays in the academic and personal development of our students. Throughout the Brandywine School District, students are engaged in band, choir, orchestra, and general music programs that foster creativity, discipline, confidence, and collaboration. We thank our dedicated music educators for inspiring students and providing opportunities for them to share their talents through concerts, performances, and special events. Music remains an essential part of a well-rounded education in BSD, and we are very proud of the many accomplishments of our student musicians. March is also recognized as Theater in Our Schools Month, celebrating the important role theater arts play in student learning and development. Across the Brandywine School District, theater programs provide students with opportunities to build confidence, develop their creativity, strengthen communication skills, and collaborate with their peers on stage and behind the scenes. We thank our theater educators and directors for their dedication and for creating meaningful experiences that allow students to explore the performing arts while showcasing their talents through productions and performances. Brandywine School District students from multiple elementary schools showcase their creativity, collaboration, and problem-solving skills at the 2025-26 Robotics Extravaganza on March 14th. Several BSD teams were recognized for the outstanding work. Teamwork awards were presented to Harlan Elementary, Forwood Elementary, and Carcroft Elementary. Spark Awards were earned by teams from Carcroft Elementary and Lombardi Elementary. The Judges Award was awarded to a team from Maple Lane Elementary. And in addition, Harlan Elementary received the Operational Excellence Award, recognizing the leadership and support of Michael Phobes, Harlan Johnson, and Mel Waddle. Not only that, but they swept the table, I think, with first, second, and third place. The Harlan Hawks really showed themselves at this event. It was wonderful. It highlights the district's continued commitment to fostering innovation, teamwork, and STEM learning across our schools. Last month, over 24 students and staff from Springer Middle School had the opportunity of a lifetime, traveling to London, England for a unique international exchange centered around music and collaboration. Experiences like this reflect the incredible work happening across our schools, and we are proud to support opportunities that expand learning far beyond the classroom. Take a look at the impact of this unforgettable journey.
About a year ago, the Springer Jazz Band was getting ready to perform in Philadelphia at the National Jazz Festival. I received a phone call from the head of the Jazz Festival saying that a group from London was coming over and they wanted to visit a school with an active jazz program. I asked Dr. Siemens if we could host the group. He said yes, and the kids got to mingle, the staffs got to mingle, and had a good old-fashioned jam session, and a friendship was born.
Welcome, Springer, to the UK. What we wanted to do is to give them a bit of an experience of what it's like to be in school in another country. We have a similar set of values in terms of the value that we put on arts and culture, but they do it in such a different way. So it's really interesting to see their perspective, but also for the students to come and spend some time with our students to see how the British education system works. And experience a little bit of the culture and the food and all of those things.
The majority of the band went, anywhere from 6th to 8th grade. And while we were at Kingsdale at the school, we spent the entire morning with our students shadowing a student from Kingsdale. And then our staff got to hang out and tour the building with their staff and learn how they do their schedule and how their day works.
For them to have this experience at middle school level is unbelievable. To get to come across the ocean to see how music is done in some of the places where music started is, something they'll never forget.
We talk about education and we talk about what a comprehensive public school does. Here at Springer, we're able to give kids this experience which is able to carry them beyond just grades 6 through 8. And now, hopefully, this trip has inspired some students to be more worldly and travel and perform and learn beyond just the walls of this building.
Whilst being in the US, we teamed up with an incredible school, Springer Middle School from Delaware. Please give them a huge round of applause. And we're so excited to have them here with us for this special concert. And they're going to perform for us.
Seating in their auditorium was like a stadium seating, and you turned around and the audience was right there, and it was packed. And I turned around, and when we were ready to play our first note, I told the kids, I said, you're about to perform in London, England. And they gave me a big smile, and away we went.
The support from district office is just unconditional, and they get it. And as someone who has worked in various districts, I am proud to be at BSD, and this is the only district I want to be in because of that support. And they understand that when there is a big idea and there's an opportunity to give staff, students, a community, a wonderful experience that will last a lifetime, they're all in. And that makes it invigorating and motivating to come work and be an educator every day.
The support is special that we receive in BSD, and that philosophy to give for our students, it's not everywhere, and it's, I think, what makes it extra special to be part of this family.
And sending our very own Mick Austin on that trip was also a good idea to capture just the joy. And so I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Mr. Robert Baronio, who's sitting in our audience, our phenomenal educator. President Heller, that concludes my monthly report.
Thank you. I was going to say about Mr. Baronio's vision, and my kids both went through Springer, so know him well, and it's not a surprise that he was able to get those kids to London, and I'm very jealous, and as Mick knows, about the opportunity to take that trip. And then I just had one question on the attendance data. So I know it's been a focus for the last 2 years on trying to improve attendance. Like, is that having any impact? Like, what are we seeing from that attendance focus?
We are seeing improvements. We are in our second year, year 2 at the elementary level, year 1 at the middle school level. We haven't broached high school yet for obvious reasons, just in terms of how their schedule works. But we are continuously improving, but I think the other piece is really the home and family connection. We need our families to be partners with us in education and to ensure that we're both swimming in the same direction, rowing in the same direction, and working together. And so the more you know, and that's really the purpose of sharing in-depth data like this. These are our students. If this is our cohort, and I think it's helpful for parents to know that if their students miss barely any school, like we all know, kids get sick, that happens, but a minimum amount of school really is close to guaranteeing proficiency if there is engagement there. So again, just trying to share our own data and convincing folks that it matters.
That was a great way to look at it, in my opinion. Any other questions or comments for Dr.
Yeah,
Walker?
just a quick question. Do we have any information about the types of absences that are going on in terms of, like you said, somebody being sick, or something more detrimental, or somebody moving, maybe custody issues, whatever the case may be? Do we have any sort of information just so that we could then come up with a solution or a policy to try to either mitigate the learning loss, or to try to address, mitigate the number of absences in general?
So that's a great question. And yes, we do have families that have hardships. So as part of our MTSS work, Dr. McKinney leads on the non-academic side. We have what's called an attendance action plan. So when we begin to see attendance rates accumulate, or when we see those numbers accumulating, we are trying to intervene with support before there are consequences that are negative in nature. So we're reaching out to the family. We're asking if there's anything that's going on. We're seeing, is it a transportation issue? Is it a choice student who's being driven to school versus missing a bus? And so we are trying to dig into the causes for this and partnering again with families to ensure that children are healthy and well and that they're coming to school. And to the extent that we can do anything, we are happy to do that. And so before there are punitive consequences, we are working through that MTSS process to look for supportive ones.
Any other questions for Dr. Lawson? That brings us to public comment. Just as a reminder, speakers are allowed 2 minutes. We'll all learn together how that 2 minutes will be communicated in this new system on the screen. It looks like there's no virtual speaker requests, and the only in-person speaker request is from Ms. Kristen Bruce, our board member-elect.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight and introduce myself. I am very excited and honored to introduce myself as the school board member-elect for nominating District F. I live in Wilshire with my husband and 2 children, one of which attends Carcroft, is in 4th grade, and my oldest is at Tally and had attended Mount Pleasant and Claymont through the gifted program prior to middle school. We've just been very pleased with the experience that our kids have had in the district, the culture, the experiences from sports and drama club and chorus, and this is just at the elementary school and beginning of middle school level. So I'm really looking forward to working with you all and serving the district going forward for the next 4 years at least. Thank you.
Thank you. It seems like it's a long way away, but it'll go really fast, and you'll be up here in a couple months. Thank you. Welcome. That brings us to board member liaison reports. Mr. Ackerman is absent tonight. Does anybody have his report for DSBA executive?
No, there wasn't a meeting, I think, since the last
well, there we go.
report for that, but I have a legislative update.
Perfect. Mr. Lavoie with the SBA Legislative.
Early in March, David Tull, the executive director of the Delaware School Board Association, asked by email for feedback about 3 bills that involved public education and that were going to be considered by the General Assembly on the 18th of March. One would establish a Title IX coordinator within the State Department of Education, a new position, and it spelled out some specific duties for that position. I sent a copy of the bill to our 2 Title IX coordinators in the Brandywine District, Alethea McIntyre and Yolanda McKinney, and they saw no major problems with the proposal, but did offer a caution or 2, which I passed on then to the DSBA and to the local state representatives. Another bill would remove the requirement for a parent to provide a birth certificate as part of the uniform public school registration process, and would allow just another form of proof of age or date of birth. And the third addressed the increasing concern, believe it or not, with harassment of student athletes by parties engaging in sports betting. I was shocked at that, but when you think about all the things that people bet on now online, it wouldn't be surprising to think that a student athlete at our high schools might be approached. So this would establish such harassment of a student athlete as a criminal offense and provide other legal protections for any targeted athletes. I reported to the DSBA executive director that we had no objections to either of those last 2 items as well. The next meeting of the Legislative Committee is going to be on April 22nd at 6:15 in Dover. Mr. Ackerman and I plan to attend. Are there any questions?
Thank you. And Mr. Scrobat, District Finance Committee.
Yes, District Finance Committee met on March 11th. We reviewed the monthly financial report that Mr. McCoy will go over shortly. I did just want to add the District Finance Committee, as the board representative, I do sit on that committee and I am engaged, but I tend to I try to take a smaller role and let it maintain as a community-led group. We have a chair, we have community members, and I just want to say that, you know, they are very intentional in discussing the dreaded R-word referendum and being very thoughtful and transparent with the community each month as we look at our carryover balances and know, you know, what our triggers are when we need to start talking about that. And that was part of the conversation this month, and, you know, we'll probably continue to, you know, address that going forward. You know, we know with the last referendum, you know, discussion that it would, you know, get 3 years out of that before we came back to the community, and the committee is very intentional in working to see what they can do. Again, to be thoughtful and transparent with when the next one may approach, and staying on top of Mr. McCoy to what moves and suggestions the district can make, you know, to try and stretch that out a little bit longer than we initially anticipated. So our next meeting will be April 8th, 5 p.m., district office in the conference room.
Thank you. Maintenance Advisory Committee, Mr. Nugemi.
Since our last board meeting, we have had 2 maintenance advisory meetings, one on February 17th at Tally Middle School. During that presentation, Mr. Reed was kind enough to show us the food preparation process and everything that goes along with feeding the students at, you know, the BSD. It was a very interesting presentation. It was a very illuminating and positive experience. I think if anybody has any questions for Mr. Reed about that, he has all the information. It's very, it gives you a great appreciation for everything that gets done to feed the kids at these schools. It's not by accident. Some fairy doesn't come around and put, you know, sprinkle pixie dust and make it happen. A lot of hardworking people really put a lot of effort into it, so it was a very good experience. Our next meeting was March 24th at Springer Middle School, and that was a overall description of the maintenance required for the district in general. There were some issues with certain buildings, certain questions about things that need to happen, and basically just overall maintenance that needs to be done. Some of those things are going to take a little bit of time to develop and to see what's going to happen. But I will say, again, Mr. Reed and his team are on top of everything, and I mean that both in terms of observing things throughout the district and also trying to address them as quickly as possible, whether it be with outside consultants, internally. I feel as if we were in good hands with Mr. Reed in terms of the maintenance of the BSD. That is not to say that there aren't things that need to be done. There are absolutely things that need to be done. But I think we're able to identify them and move forward in the right direction pretty coherently. So our next meeting will be, it is scheduled for April 7th, but there's a chance that will be moved due to it being during spring break. So.
Thank you.
Any questions?
All right, Parents and Citizens Advisory Committee, Ms. Stock is not here this evening. I did attend the meeting. It was on March 26th. It was very well attended, I would say. It was the last meeting of the year. Myself, Ms. Stock, Mr. Lavoie, and Mr. Jordan were all present. The topic of the meeting was special programs, including language immersion, the SITE program, AVID, International Baccalaureate, AP, Child Find, Bush, all those kinds of specialized programs that we offer in the district. I think it was an excellent meeting. It was kind of a round table where each participant had a passport, and they had to visit each table to learn about each program and get their passport stamped so that they talked to everybody. So it was a great meeting. Like I said, it was the last of the year, so I will offer that if you're a parent and are interested in attending those meetings next year, you should reach out to your building principal. If you're a community member that is not a parent and are interested, reach out to the board member that represents your nominating district. If you don't know who that is, just email the generic board address and we'll get you set up with the information for next year. I think the first meeting was in October, but I forget the actual date for next year. So there'll be more on that as we get closer, but always looking for new members and fresh thoughts and voices to join that committee. And that'll take us to Mr. Jordan for the Parent Council for Students with Disabilities.
Thank you, President Heller. I will point out that on the agenda, it does say Ms. B. Jordan, which happens to be my wife's initials, so I will let her know
Oh,
she's
we
been
can
elected.
call her up then.
Yeah.
Give us 1 second.
If we could. So we did have a meeting this month. It was on March 9th, 5:30 to 6:30 at Mount Pleasant Elementary. And the session included presentations on the secondary course selection process, and that was presented by Dr. Kutch and Angie Hansen, as well as University of Delaware's Career and Life Studies Certificate Program and the Spectrum Scholars Program, presented by Julie Harrington, Jay Sellers, and Laura Gibson. The purpose of these presentations was to provide families with information about planning for future academic pathways as well as post-secondary opportunities for students with intellectual and developmental disabilities so that they too can access college experiences and develop independent living and career skills. After the presentations, there were breakout sessions, and these included sessions on early childhood toileting strategies, which was facilitated by Destiny Jenwright, augmentative and alternative communication supports presented by Deborah Ford, and opportunities for student engagement through Special Olympics presented by Nikki Mowbray. These really gave the families some practical advice and strategies on and opportunities to ask questions. Our next meeting, which I believe will be the last for this year, is May 11th, again at Mount Pleasant Elementary from 5:30 to 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to Mr. Lavoy for the 91.7 WMPH advisory.
Thank you. At the last advisory board meeting on the 9th of March, the retiring station manager and CTE teacher, Paul Wishingrad, introduced his successor, Mr. Benjamin Bean, who is currently a social studies teacher at Mount Pleasant, but he's going to segue into that position under Mr. Wishingrad's guidance. He's already begun orienting Mr. Bean to the station manager responsibilities, and which he'll begin assuming this summer because, of course, WMPH is on the air 24/7, 365 days a year. WMPH has been broadcasting and streaming 24/7 throughout the entire winter, except for just a few hours overnight when windows seized up, and I wonder why. Could have been the temperature and the ice, or when there were power interruptions. As part of an agreement with the Delaware Public Media, WMPH has been airing two of their programs, Hometown Heroes and The Green, in exchange for 2 intern opportunities for Mount Pleasant student broadcast journalists who rise to the appropriate level in their coursework at WMPH, which is an amazing opportunity for our kids. We were also reminded that 1 or 2 Mount Pleasant student journalists are able to participate in the long-running KYW News Studies program in Philadelphia each October. And again, more opportunities for our kids to get meaningful experiences. I would just like to say on behalf of the board, the district leadership, Mount Pleasant student journalists, and the entire Brandywine community who enjoy listening to WMPH, thank you, Paul Wishingrad, for your years of dedication to teaching our students what good broadcasting and journalism is all about, and for the millions of hours of quality program you oversaw. Best wishes for a fulfilling retirement, Paul. The next meeting of the WMPH Advisory Board will be Monday, July 13th at the WMPH studios in Mount Pleasant High School at 6 p.m.
Thank you.
President, I had a question for Mr. Lavoy about the radio station. After seeing the presentation tonight about the Springer Jazz Band performing in England, has the radio station thought of an opportunity to maybe even get one of those kids in the studio? Maybe they could play their favorite records or something like that, or even any kind of a performance, anything? And that's question one. Question two is there that opportunity for board members to get on air and spin their favorite records?
You mean you have, to spin their records?
Or
Okay.
hit play, whatever.
Haven't you been invited to speak there? Haven't you been invited to speak?
No.
Oh.
No, I would love
Oh,
to.
you have to do the
Okay.
playlist.
All right, well,
It's
that
a
answers
great
question
time.
two.
They do interview board members occasionally.
Okay.
Maybe if you stopped asking the high school kids questions after. No, that's a great idea. I'm not sure that their studio could even support a combo. It's very cramped headquarters. But they could probably do remote coverage in the music room. That's a great idea. I'll bring it up to Paul and to Benjamin.
Okay.
Thanks for that suggestion.
Sure, and even, was it Mr. Baronio? Is that, even hearing him, spin some records for an hour if he was interested to hear what he listens to, I think that'd be pretty cool.
And is there a dedicated audio from the London performance that maybe we could broadcast? Okay. Kingsdale was the London school that they went to? Right.
Yes, Mick's also a member of the advisory board. So if I forget to bring that up, remind me.
But you should email Mr. Wishengrad. So for anybody not familiar with the playlist is you pick a group of songs that are meaningful to you, and a student picks a group that are meaningful to them, and they play one of yours. They listen to yours, and then they kind of give feedback on yours, and you do the same for them. And it's a great show.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
You can hear them all at WMPH.net. Also, if you want to hear them played back. All right, and then we're going to just stick with Mr. Lavoie since Mr. Ackerman is not here tonight for the Policy Review Committee.
Yes, the Brandywine School District Policy Review Committee was formulated, and here are the current members: Ralph Ackerman, myself, Kenny Rivera, Kevin Paladinetti, Christopher Seco, Greg Golden, Leslie Ray, and Dana Jackson. Our first meeting is scheduled on April the 23rd at 5 p.m. at Mount Pleasant Elementary School Multipurpose Room. If you're interested in board policy or in school district policy, you're welcome to come and participate.
Thank you. And back to Mr. Najemi for Wilmington Learning Collaborative.
We had not one, not two, but 3 meetings in the month of March on the 4th, the 20th, and the 26th. And the reason for these meetings was primarily to discuss the budget. As some people might know, there's a lot of questions about the budget going forward with regards to the WLC. How that affects the BSD is relatively minimal because, again, we have one school involved in the WLC, Harlan Elementary, and it's doing very well with the WLC, getting resources and things of that nature from it. But I will say that the reason for all of these meetings is because there's a concern that the budget of the WLC is going to be cut substantially. Obviously, everybody's concerned about that. Part of the reason for the proposed cut is because there is believed to be funds that have not yet been used that were appropriated in earlier years. There's some questions as to whether or not those funds have been allocated for purposes already, whether or not they will be spent, have they been sent to different accounts and things of that nature. So there's a degree of just making sure and understanding. Part of the reason why we have so many meetings was to make sure that we understood where the money was, who it was allocated for. And again, while this is not unimportant, the fact that we have one school involved does somewhat mitigate the level of effect that it would have on the BSD. And the next meeting is on Wednesday, April 1st at 6 p.m. at Warner Elementary. So I'll give you an update as to what conclusions we had there as well. Any questions?
And next is Mr. Jordan and Mr. Lavoie with the new District Success Plan Committee. Is there an update on that?
Thank you, President Heller. There is an update. So for those listening and those in the audience, we have been sending out surveys. We've also been accepting requests by community members who would like to be part of the District Success Plan Committee, as well as soliciting input from across the Brandywine School District community. The goal will be to produce a success plan that meets the district's and the community's needs. We had originally scheduled a meeting for April 1st of this week, but we realized that that is Passover, so we have actually rescheduled that to Monday, April 13th. and that'll be at Mount Pleasant Elementary. And Mr. Lavoy, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think we had picked 6 to 7:30 for that meeting?
I think we said 6 to 8.
6 to 8. All right, so that'll be Monday, April 13th at Mount Pleasant Elementary. After that, the goal is to have a couple of meetings each month. Of course, public input would be welcome at any of those.
And we'd like to encourage everyone within listening range to go to our district website and look at school success, or excuse me, look at success plan, and go to that and answer that short questionnaire, because that will give us the feedback we want from as many citizens as possible.
Great, thank you. Are there any other board member reports?
Not a report per se, but I'm sure this is already teed up, but if the performance video, the sizzle from the London performance, is that going to be carved out and kind of put as its own standalone on the YouTube channel as well as our socials?
Right now.
Good. Probably already done.
This video is already posted, even though the meeting's not over. That's how good Mick is.
You had to see it first.
Any other board member reports? All right, that brings us to item 6, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll do personnel matters individually, so we'll start with 7A. Is there a motion to approve the personnel report as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. That brings us to 7B. Is there a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation on employee matter 26-013 as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. And 7C, is there a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation on employee matter 26-014 as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. Then for student matters, is there a motion to accept the student matters discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. That brings us to new business. Mr. Reed? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Before that, I did, as part of that personnel, we approved the hiring of our new supervisor of technology, who happens to be in the audience tonight, so Mr. Philip Smallwood, if you'd like to wave. Welcome to BSD. Thank you for reminding me. I wrote it down, so I didn't forget. Mr. Reed, contract for Lombardi's roof.
Good evening. I know this is one of the more exciting items that we are going to be discussing, and I know the students and staff are very excited about this at Lombardi, but we will be replacing 53,000 square foot of the 60,000 square foot roof. We received 13 bids because we got our design done early and our bids done early because contractors look to book up early. So we received 13 bids, which was good competition. The price of the contract came to $1.145 million. That's $21 per square foot. Roofing prior to COVID was $20 a square foot. After COVID, Concord's roof came in at $38 a square foot. Tally last summer was $36, and this came in at $21.34. So good competition. This is hopefully a sign for better things. And as part of this project, just so people understand, the roofs of these buildings are insulated from the outside, the flat roofs. So we have to take all the insulation off, all the roofing off. Right now, the building has a minimum of 1.5 inches insulation. New county code is 6 inches of insulation. So it'll be a much thicker roof there, but all that has to come off, re-insulate the building from the outside, re-roof it. We're putting on a 25-year warranty product, and we will start the beginning of the summer and get it done in time for the kids to come back, but they're so excited about this. Thank you.
Does that additional insulation give any extension to the lifetime of the roof?
It'll help. Schools used to do tar roofing, which is 450-degree tar with guys up there slopping around. The roof is built out of wood, so the last thing we want to do is to be doing that. This is a rubber-style roof, so when they say it has a 25-year life, at 25 years and 1 day is usually about when they start to fail, but we have to plan for that. And the district does have a plan for all its roofs, when they will fail, when they will need to be replaced. I'm sure we'll be asked the question, why are we doing this roof and not Mount Pleasant Elementary, which is almost 100 years old? Once a roof project raises a certain dollar threshold, we're required by law, by code, to go to capital referendum. This project is barely below that threshold. So Mount Pleasant Elementary, Mount Pleasant High have to be a capital referendum. Lombardi fits in as minor cap.
So with a 20-year lifetime.
25-year.
25 expectancy, should we start putting our CNs now?
Yes, we should start submitting it for Lombardi right now.
Thank you.
But it will be the most beautiful roof in the Lombardi area and on Falk Road.
Is the great state of Delaware contributing any money to this, or?
It's our minor cap budget, which is 60% state funding, 40% local funding.
Okay.
And this is 45% of our total funding for summer projects goes in one roof. Yeah, roofs are expensive.
Mr. Reed, I just want to ask, were there any calculations made about how much we would save on air conditioning and heating with that 6-inch?
We have not, because A, that takes a lot of effort, but it's not going to be a whole lot. There's a big debate whether or not you go with a white roof, black roof to favor heating or air conditioning. Lombardi doesn't get a lot of summer school, but it is highly used in the winter. So we are going with a darker color roof to favor a heating season. And while we're there, some of the mechanical units are old. We are going to letter bid the replacement of those units, because you don't want to put a new roof on, then come back a year later and cut it to fix the mechanical. So we're going to try and replace the library unit and the cafeteria unit while we're there, because they are now 21 years old, and a unit like that should last about 18 years. So we're at that point where we need to do some of that other work. So, and it won't just be this project alone. We'll be doing other things at Lombardi while we're doing this. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need approval from the board to move forward.
All right, so we're looking for a motion to approve the contract to Winchester Roofing Corporation, which was the low bidder, for $1,145,697.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. That brings us to Mr. McCoy with the, I lost it, with the February monthly financial report.
Good evening, Board President Heller, Vice President Scrobot, Superintendent Dr. Lawson, board members and audience members, and future board members. Tonight we will be reviewing the February 28th, 2026 monthly financial report. There aren't many noteworthy changes in revenues, so I just wanted to take some time to talk about our real estate tax revenues on page 1. At the top of page 1, line 1, current expense tax. Through February, we have received 98.9% of our current expense tax. It's likely that we will surpass our budgeted tax revenue by year's end. Brandywine School District reset its tax rate to be revenue neutral. We did not utilize any of the 10% increase that was allowed by state code after the reassessment. Because of this, revenues in excess of what we budgeted may face scrutiny, so I just wanted to clarify the reasons for this. And there are two main reasons why we most likely will collect more tax revenue than we budgeted. First, there was a substantial amount of assessment added to our tax base by Newcastle County in the January ads. That was from the Delmarva assessment corrections. This created additional tax revenue for Brandywine School District. Second, as of March 9th, there are still 400+ appeals that need to be decided by Newcastle County for Brandywine School District. That equates to over $240 million in assessment that's still at risk of being removed from our tax base. That roughly calculates out to $2 million in tax revenue for Brandywine School District. Many of these parcels under appeal have already paid their taxes in full for the year. When these appeals are settled, The parcel owner will have the opportunity to request a refund or receive a credit on next year's taxes. If they select a refund, it will pull down our revenues for this year. If they select a credit, it will pull down our revenues for next year. Because so many appeals still exist, our revenues are slightly inflated for this school year until the appeals are settled. Adding another layer of uncertainty, as of March 24th, there's still $3.4 million in unpaid Brandywine School District taxes compared to $1.4 million at the similar time last year. It's nearly impossible to predict how much of that will be paid before the year ends. On line 2 of the same page, we finally had a somewhat normal month of interest revenue, receiving $164,000 in February. Our March number was even more promising, so even though we're at 65.7% collected, we should be very close to the budgeted number of $1.3 million by year's end. There was no notable changes until line 25, other state revenue. We received 2 items of note, $137,000 from the state for the Literacy Emergency Fund and $112,000 from the state for the mid-year unit count, since our enrollment has climbed by 114 students since the September unit count. Moving on to page 2, the only items that have changed in a material way is line 44. The state has provided us with the state share of our minor capital improvement funds, $975,000. I don't have anything else noted on the revenue side of things. If there's no questions, yes.
I do have a question. How, the literacy funding, how, are we tracking that somehow separately, right? It's restricted.
Yeah, it has its own funding, so we can just pull specifically that funding.
Okay, so like there's like a sub-account of that
Yep.
main account, which, okay.
Yes. On page 3, the first 2 lines, salaries, those are comparable with last year's numbers at the same time and align well with the percent of pays that we've had so far this year, so there's no concerns with those lines. The only thing that stands out on this page is, unfortunately, on line 11, we have an operating unit that is overspent. So this is the operating unit that was overspent last year because a lot of ESSER expenditures were added here without corresponding budget dollars to cover the expenses. Because it was overspent last year, expenditures were moved out of that operating unit and into other operating units, just to kind of bring down the ugliness of the over budget. So when I built the budget for this year, I did not pick up the expenditures that were moved into other operating units. Therefore, I did not put enough budget money into that operating unit. So it's showing that it has been overspent. However, there's no material difference in what they spent funds on compared to last year. So I'm confident that our budget as a whole has the money there that it needs to cover all of these expenses, and that will end up as expected as a whole. At the bottom, you can see that our budget is 66.57% obligated compared to 70.31% for this time last year. On page 4, I have no highlights to call out on this page. And on page 5, you can see the individual building spending is looking good compared to last year. So are there any questions on the expenditures? I know I glossed over them pretty quickly, but not much has really changed. All right. Page 6 are the prior year appropriations. We continue to spend down prior year funds that have been encumbered. There's no items that I wanted to call out on this section. So again, if there's any questions, we'll just keep it moving. All right, the cash flows report on page 7. The main item of note on this analysis is that the projected balance at year end is now $9.275 million. This is up from $8.76 million last month. The reason for the increase in the ending balance is due to the tax collections in excess of what we budgeted that I mentioned earlier. Because of the volume of appeals and the speed at which Newcastle County is working through them, coupled with a higher unpaid amount than we've seen in years past, it's been extremely difficult to really nail down this cash flow analysis, so that the ending balance has fluctuated a lot more than I would have liked. But clearly, as the months continue on, we're getting closer and closer to our final number. So taking into account that we still have over $3 million outstanding in taxes, the appeals, I don't know that they expect to get through all the appeals in this school year. So I feel confident that we should be over the 8.8 target mark. So that's all I have. The District Finance Committee approved the February 28, 2026 monthly financial report at their March 11th meeting. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them now.
So you know this ending balance has been a worry of mine, so I'm happy to see it higher than the 8.8.
Quick question, for everybody's benefit and everybody listening, how is it going to work if there are appeals and those appeals are successful in terms of the 9.2, money that's already been given to us, money that's already been given to the BSD? Are we going to write them a check? Is this, like, how does the logistics of, I understand the logistics of us receiving tax income. What's the logistics of us repaying that? And, do we anticipate there being any costs involved with that? Other than, obviously pay, the amount of money that we're giving back to individuals.
So as it's worked throughout the year, and hopefully as it will continue to work, is Newcastle County takes the refunds out of the money that they've collected for our district for that month, and so we don't even see the payback.
So there could be a month where it just, that's, not precipitously, but that's less than what we had the month before, or the year before, and it'll just be because that's when all the appeals are addressed fully.
It's possible there could be a month where the revenue we've taken in taxes does not cover the refunds. There are still some major parcels out there that are under appeal that could have a substantial refund due to them.
And we could, and also this appeal process could be months/years in the making?
That I don't.
Theoretically.
I don't think they'll finish this year's appeals until next year.
Okay.
We thought that there would be another influx of appeals for next year, but the county said that they only received about 400 or so last time we spoke to them. So I would think that they could get all of the appeals done next year.
It's actually why there's several bills sitting in legislature, or at least there's stirring of potential continuing to split rates and then continuing to reset tax rates because of the flux that we continue to see. Typically, tax rates aren't actually moved until another reassessment is done, but we're experiencing such
volatility.
Yes, that's a great word, volatility.
It's fair to say Kent and Sussex do not have the same volatility and planning issues that Newcastle County school districts are having?
Yes, that is correct.
And as maybe a silver lining, we would still be able to benefit from the interest, even if we do have to eventually, even if funds do have to be returned for the month, 2 months, 10 months, whatever the case may be, we're still benefiting from the interest amount that we'll be able to accrue.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
Next year, though, we'll face the same thing where they push the deadline back, so we won't receive our funds for a while, so our interest will be lower again. If you want to feel sad about the interest, look at where we were compared to last year, and it's not a pretty sight.
Any other questions? Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the February 28th, 2026 monthly financial report, subject to audit?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. That brings us to old business. Dr. Rivera, Concord Soccer Association and Tallyville softball leases. Does anybody have any questions? My only question, I guess, is just clarification of the language about, for lack of a better term, competing advertising. They're very aware of that to communicate that with whoever their fundraising, either personnel or companies are?
Yes, and to be clear, this has never been an issue with the two organizations we are voting on here tonight, Concord Soccer and Taylorville Softball, has never, we've never encountered this with them.
And just
We
to
are creating the blueprint for future leases, if you get what I mean.
And just to reiterate, the funds brought in through this change so far, we're not looking to, quote, make money. We are breaking even. We are paying for the things that are necessary to maintain these facilities.
So these two.
No, yeah, in general. But
yes, these, they're responsible for paying for any type of improvements they want on their land. And then the lease agreement has, if they do not choose to renew or terminate the lease, then they have to pay to return the property back in the condition and remove any things they build, anything they put on the property, they need to pay to remove it before the land comes back to us.
Okay, very
Yes.
much achieving status quo. Okay.
And Dr. Rivera, they're responsible for mowing and that sort of thing?
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, they're responsible for mowing and?
That is
Okay.
absolutely correct.
All right.
Is there a motion to approve the leases for Taylorville Girls Softball and Concord Soccer Association?
So moved.
Second.
Before we vote, I did want to make a comment, now that it's been moved. I am a volunteer coach for Concord Soccer Association, but I had no role for either the district or the Concord Soccer Association in negotiating this. Like I said, I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid. I do not see a conflict of interest in voting for the contract with Concord Soccer.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, that brings us to general information. Our next meeting is April 20th at Brandywine High School, followed by a workshop on May 4th at Mount Pleasant. And then currently the May meeting is scheduled at is that for a celebration? It's scheduled at Brandywine High School.
For the celebration.
Oh, for celebration.
Yes.
Perfect. Any other comments, questions, thoughts? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 8:24. Good night, everybody.